These are the practical steps I took for my body to be prepared and supported during birth and recovery. These are so important. So every day I walked during during the last trimester of my pregnancy. So this really built up my stamina for birth. And I think it helped baby be in a good birthing position. I don't know. I tried for 30 minutes to an hour every day, but honestly, the more you can walk, the better. I did birth ball exercises. I'll include a link to a YouTube birth ball exercise video that I really liked. I also did stretches specifically to prepare for childbirth. I'll include a link to that as well. I already tried to avoid anything with refined sugar, flour, processed dairy when I can, and eat organic, have a lot of whole foods and lots of fruits and vegetables, but you know, I'm human. So I try for an 80-20 balance, 80% healthy and 20% whatever. Every day during pregnancy, I ate dates, I took evening primrose oil, and I drank yogi red raspberry leaf tea. And I'll link to a video that tells you exactly how to prepare it. The prenatal vitamin I took was the Garden of Life prenatal because it's whole food based. I'm not going to go into the science of artificial versus whole food vitamins, but it's actually really interesting if you want to research it. So this is one of the biggest things for not experiencing pain throughout the birth was not tensing up any part of my body at any contraction or ever holding my breath. For each contraction, I would move kind of instinctually through them to keep them from being painful. Sometimes it was rocking back and forth on my birth ball. Sometimes I'd walk. Sometimes I'd sing, actually. Sometimes I would kind of move my hips. Sometimes just other random movements. I didn't prepare any of these in advance. I just kind of did what was feeling best in each moment. And this is what kept me from feeling any pain during the contractions. I had a really short playlist, just 3 songs that I put on repeat when I wasn't doing prayers that kept my head in a good space, and they had like a good tempo for working through the contractions. I used these in the stage of labor where contractions were strong, but before transition. During transition and pushing, I had it completely silent, except for my husband was like whispering prayers. It was nighttime. I was glad about that. So I kept the rooms that I was in dark with like a few candles lit. This was very soothing. And the 2 main tools I used were a birth ball, which was fantastic, especially during the middle wave of contractions. And then I'd use my shower and tub with warm water throughout labor just whenever I felt like I needed it. The warm water was so helpful. I drank kombucha and ice water during the labor just whenever I felt like I needed it. I had a couple herbs I was using as extracts. I used the Herb Farm brand. I had motherwort, ginger, ginseng, and cramp bark. I took these every couple hours. And I actually had skullcap too, but it made me feel weird, so I didn't take it after the first time. Obviously, don't take any herbs or anything like that before talking to a doctor or herbalist. At the beginning of labor, I slept as much as I could and laid down to rest in between some stronger contractions once I couldn't sleep. Really, the whole thing was like a super long, low-intensity cardio workout because of all the moving that I was doing during contractions. For labor positions, I switched between standing, sitting in the bath, laying on the bed, standing with my hands on the wall in the shower, walking, sitting on the birth ball. I was laying on my side on the floor at one point. When I was pushing, I was on my knees with my hands over the birth ball. When I transitioned, I really focused on breathing and keeping my muscles relaxed. I would pray aloud in between pushes. I only pushed when I felt the urge, and I really tried to mainly let my body do the pushing without helping it. I used a moo breath during pushing. I'll link to a great video that teaches you how to use a moo breath. And once the baby was really low, I would touch his head in between contractions to keep me focused on the baby. I really tried not to push much, like I said, but just allow my body to do the pushing. But I was pretty excited to get the baby out, so I did force it a little. And so he actually had a neutral hand, which is a hand in front of his face when he was delivered. And literally that didn't even hurt. It just felt like it was effortful. So to recap, to prepare for the birth, I walked and stretched every day. I ate healthy whole foods mostly. I took a food-based prenatal. I slept when I could at the beginning of the labor, kept my muscles relaxed, and kept breathing in labor. I responded instinctually to the contractions to keep them painless. I kept my environment dim and quiet with some music or prayer when I wanted, and I mostly let my body do the pushing.